Steelwool posted a Spot the Difference on Twitter, and I swear to God it's the next FNAF game. They said in the post that it's not a teaser, there's no secret clues or a countdown or anything, but I think they're lying to us. They're lying to me specifically, and they're lying to you for dramatic effect, which is fair. I'm gonna prove that they are lying, or maybe look insane. Whatever happens first. Slices, put on your aprons and let's bake ourselves a theory. Okay, I'm calming down. What is this Spot the Difference post? Well, it's this Twitter post, which reads, no secrets, no hidden clues, no teaser, no countdown, just 3 differences, ... probably eyes emoji. How fast can you spot them? And with it, these 2 images. What appears to be a pool room of sorts with various decorations. For the record, the differences are here, here, and here. And I hear you. I understand. The post literally says there's no teasers. Not everything is about Five Nights at Freddy's. Steelwool makes other games. This might not be a game at all. They might have just did a fun Spot the Difference post. I might be looking into nothing. And if the post were worded differently, I'd agree with you. But why the hell does it say probably? Because that made me pause. Where it's placed in the structure of the post, it's implying that there's probably just 3 differences, that there might be more. But I've done everything to this image. There are just 3 differences. You can do them manually. Here's a trick. If you ever have 2 Spot the Differences next to each other, you can cross your eyes to line them up in your vision, and the differences will flash rapidly. You can do any Spot the Difference super quickly like that. But I even went on Photoshop and overlaid them, and these are the only 3 differences. So what the hell could probably mean in this context? Which made me look a little deeper, and that's when I started noticing things. So how does this image tell us exactly what the next Five Nights at Freddy's game is going to be, and where it's going to take place? The first thing to note is that this is seemingly a Freddy's location. First of all, look at the floor tiling. That is the FNAF floor. Every FNAF restaurant we've ever seen, even the sister location Bunker at specific times, has this flooring. I get it. It is just black and white tile flooring. If this were any other game company, I wouldn't accuse them of making a FNAF game for having this flooring. But this is Steelwool we're talking about, the company behind the main line of FNAF games for the past half-decade. If they're promoting an image with black and white tile flooring, it is not a stretch to say that's a Freddy's. And they know this. This can't just be an accident. Steelwool is acutely aware that whatever they post, it is torn to shreds by theorists trying to figure out any news on the next FNAF game, like me. In fact, Steelwool is quite smart about their social media posts because of this exact thing. Things that don't feel like they're important are emphasized as such, and multiple times in the past, seemingly innocuous tweets turn out to be major little bits of foreshadowing teasing for the next major projects. So if we can all agree that this is definitively a FNAF location, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I'm joking, but you get the idea. If we can agree this looks like a FNAF location, is there any real information, or is this just like, hey, the next FNAF game has a pool? Well, the first thing that immediately jumps out is that there's a chicken there. That's a chicken inner tube. Chica? Now I hear you, Chica is notoriously yellow, but there is one very notable Chica that is white, that being Glamrock Chica. And I get it, it is a stretch to see a random white chicken and go, oh, Glamrock Chica. First of all, doesn't resemble her at all, and Glamrock Chica doesn't have that little red thing at the top, the like floppy, gross red thing chickens have. These do just seem like normal chickens. And because that, my friend, that's the red herring. They want you to look at the chicken, but you gotta look past the chicken sometimes. There are 3 other inner tubes at this pool, and we gotta talk about those. Look at this pink and green inner tube. Does it look familiar? Well, it should. I just showed you a picture of Glamrock Chica, and wouldn't you know it, but the 2 most notable colors of her outfit are pink and green, the exact same shade. I mean, line up her leg warmers, they practically match. This tube is the Glamrock Chica tube. I don't give a shit about this chicken. I do give a shit about this chicken. And once I noticed that, the other inner tubes started to fall into place. The light blue and light red one, that's Glamrock Freddy. It matches his makeup perfectly. And the third tube, I admit, the third tube kind of stumped me, because like, this yellow and blue seems really familiar, but there wasn't a great link to it. Like maybe it's sun and moon, but that feels like a stretch. But then I realized that Moon itself has blue and yellow in the outfit. And since Moon seems to be more and more important as time goes on, maybe this is just the Moon tube. I mean, hell, in Moon.exe in Secret of the Mimic turns into Moon after making a statue of it, but it's like a weirdly kind of buff Moon. I don't super understand what that was going for still, but forget all that for a moment. 3 inner tubes: Glamrock Chica, Glamrock Freddy, and Moon. And if you still doubt me that these tubes are meant to match these characters, I thought one step ahead, because the same colors have been used to represent these characters before in Roxy Raceway. We all know the Glamrock Freddy car, and we have to assume the Roxy car. Did you know there's cars for all the main animatronics? You know, in this garage, you get to see them. And wouldn't you know it, the Glamrock Chica car has white because that's her color, but there's also green and pink. The same green and pink. The Glamrock Freddy car has the same light brown that we know about Glamrock Freddy, but what does it also have? Light red and light blue. And they even have a sun car and a moon car. And you're not gonna believe it, folks, but the moon car is the same blue and yellow from the tube. This is a security breach themed pool with chickens in it, I guess. So I ask you, what the hell could any of this mean? Well, frankly, it kind of has to be a look into our next FNAF game. There ain't no damn pool at the Security Breach Pizzaplex, and Scott Cawthon has said that they are actively working on a sequel, not a 3, a 2. I've been saying it's gonna be Sister Location 2 for a couple months now, and I still think that's a good possibility, but then when we get this teaser image, I think I'm wrong. I think this teaser image is telling us that the next game is Security Breach 2. I like doing bits for ad breaks, but it's like almost 2 a.m. and I just want to be done editing this video. So get GAMERSUPPS and use code RyeToast for 10% off your order. It'll support the channel. I like the product a lot. Yeah. The Security Breach Pizzaplex has a lot of things, but one thing, as far as I can tell, it has never had is a pool. So wherever this is, this cannot take place during the Security Breach Pizzaplex. So that means if we have a location with the Glamrock designs of animatronics and new areas of interest, then either this takes place in a separate location before Security Breach, in the Pizzaplex after the renovation after Ruin, which seems like a monumental task, or in a new location. Frankly, still kind of a sister location 2 in that sense. But another thing that's notable to say this isn't our Security Breach Pizzaplex is the complete lack of Roxanne Wolf or Montgomery Gator branding. I looked at their colors of their outfits. That doesn't line up with anything we have here. The closest thing is maybe this inner tube is meant to be Roxy, but she doesn't have pink anywhere on her body. If anything, it should be green and purple. So my thinking is that this is showing us a brand new location, one that is trying to completely sever ties with the Security Breach Pizzaplex. After all, that thing literally fell apart. Call it an earthquake in the newspaper if you want to. Everyone remembers the Fazbear Pizzaplex that literally crumbled in front of their eyes. And if they're making a new location, it's likely on a smaller budget, something that would need to be a bit more manageable. And to sell it, maybe lean back on some more of your more recognizable characters. After all, Roxanne Wolf and Montgomery Gator were seemingly new additions to the cast with the Security Breach Pizzaplex. Now, they're older characters, they go all the way back to Murray's Costume Manor, as we've just learned, but in the public consciousness, these are new characters for this Pizzaplex. And I'm sure Fazbear wants to sever all ties with that ruined Pizzaplex. And that's when I realized, I think I was wrong. There's a chance that this blue and yellow inner tube isn't about Moon at all, because there is one other character, one whose instrument we never see in game, but we do see in official art in game. An instrument that has this exact same color scheme, a bass guitar. A bass guitar belonging to Glamrock Bonnie. Note the blue and the yellow. And that's when it all clicked. Freddy, Chica, and Moon is a weird combination, right? It's possible. It is a combination of animatronics that all exist at the same time, but it's weird. Moon's not a frontliner. In the books, Sun Moon wasn't even meant to be in the daycare. They were a separate performer in the theater, and when the daycare attendant wasn't there anymore, we don't get an explanation, they sub Sun and and Moon in. And to prevent the Jekyll and Hyde performance they would do, they just put generators in the daycare so that the lights are always on. That's what we see in game. There's generators in the daycare, the lights are always on, Moon stays away. So why would the combination here be Freddy, Chica, and Moon? But imagine if I'm right, and this inner tube is color-coded to Bonnie's bass guitar. Well, then we have Freddy, Chica, and Bonnie. And at that point, it all comes together. Because what's really the secret, the real reason that probably is there, is because the chicken isn't real. The chicken isn't real. I sound really crazy. The chicken isn't real. That's the red herring. I don't even know if this chicken inner tube is in the game. It might be, but I think this chicken inner tube is a replacement for what's actually supposed to be in this shot. Foxy inner tubes. Because look at what we have. This is Pirate Cove. Wooden barrels containing pool noodles, otherwise known as weapons stored in barrels, water features, inner tubes of the main cast. This is a pirate-themed area. We just get to see a dingy corner of it. But Foxy is a very recognizable color scheme. I barely made the connections with the inner tubes. If Steel Wool gave us an image with these 3 inner tubes and then like a red and orange one, or maybe red and silver for the hook or something, everyone would put it together instantly. A Foxy inner tube, a Bonnie inner tube, a Freddy inner tube, and a Chica inner tube just definitively spells FNAF. Steel Wool knows we rip these images apart for clues. If they gave us that instantly, everyone would be running with the fact that this is a teaser. But they gave us just enough to have plausible deniability and make me personally look insane. So they swapped out Foxy for some random chickens. Because in this shot, it's meant to be Foxy inner tubes. Because in Security Breach 2, the new Pizzaplex is Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy. The band's back together. And I don't know, we probably play as Gregory and maybe Vanessa and have to rescue Cassie. She's still like a loose end that we need to figure out what to do with. And honestly, she might have Roxy. I still really think the twist villain of the next game is going to be a sheep in wolf's clothing, aka Cassie, a mindless slave to Glitchtrap, wearing Roxy merchandise, a sheep in wolf's clothing. I still think that's super probable. But the next location has the old band all glam rocked up, and this is its Pirate's Cove. Or I'm really starved for news and I'm making a huge deal out of an innocuous spot the difference. But I'm being so for real. These inner tubes line up with these characters so well that if this isn't a teaser, they're doing this shit on purpose. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I genuinely think this is the start of something new. It feels so right to have FNAF news too, yeah. But if it is Security Breach 2, all of my predictions have been wrong, which I don't love. But if you want to know what those predictions are, you can see them right here. If you want a fan art feature on the channel, make sure to share it with #ToastArt. And a huge thank you to our generous patrons who keep this channel running in light of YouTube's fluctuating ad rates. And a special thank you to our breadwinners of the week, Madison Esmond, Marks, Sam Pinnell, and Westwood Meadowlark. And until next time, as always, stay toasty, slices.